Welcome to Talking Giants, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick. Got a lot to get to. We have Barstool Clem at the end of the show. We did a 25-minute interview with him. Always fun with our guy. We've got to talk about Zach Fulton retiring. This feels like ages ago at this point. And the most important thing, I hate to say it to Clem, but the most important thing, Saquon Barkley is back. Justin, how are you?
How dare you do that to Barstool Clem? How dare you? Great friend of the program. We have similar first names. Great first name he has. Yeah, Bobby Skinner. We get to go to MetLife, or I do, not you. I get to go to MetLife twice this week. By the time that you're all listening to this, I have already punched Bobby Skinner in the face, and then he has punched me back because I have most likely picked him up from Newark Airport. Newark Airport, as we call it. Newark is in Delaware. Newark is in New Jersey. I most likely picked him up from Newark Airport, and we were in the Bronx kind of doing stuff together. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm excited for this week. This is a huge week. It's a huge week for us. We're having like our first event at FanFest, Parking Lot G, yada, 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 3:00. Bring your own beers, but we'll have burgers, hot dogs, etc. Buns too. We'll have some nice buns. Yeah, I'm excited. This is a huge, huge week. And Giants football is kind of unofficially back.
Come to Parking Lot G for FanFest, free food, giving out some stickers, and we're going to have a show, and we're going to run a lap. We are all going to run a lap at 6:00.
Seems corny, not going to lie. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that.
Doesn't matter. You're just trying to get out of having to run a lap.
You're right.
This episode was brought to you by two other lap runners, Jarek Starkey and Hutch, and then Philip Swabinski. By the way, new Patreons, I'm sending you guys messages to get your free magnets, and you're not responding to me.
Wow.
Like the last 4 or 5, I've messaged them like, hey, what's your address? I want to send you a magnet. None of them have responded. Jim hasn't. Jarek hasn't. Philip hasn't. Robert Marmer hasn't. Robert Browner. George Forrest. None of these guys are got their there's magnets. Send me your guys' addresses so I can send you some free scrap. Pissing me off, Patreons.
Help us. Which, thank you. Robert Forrest, what a name. Help us, help you. And we can help each other. It's called reciprocity. Say that word 3 times fast. Patreon.com/Talking Giants. If you go there and you get to support us $2 a month, that's all you got. You got to give. There's some other tiers too. And Bob will send you a free magnet. You get some free shirts twice a month. There's a raffle. You can get a chance to win that. And you get a chance to see the shows live as we record them, which will be really, really cool. On game days, patreon.com/Talking Giants. Thank you to our patrons. Let us send you things when we want to.
Saquon Barkley's back, which was like, you knew eventually he was going to come back, but it's like, it kind of just felt like, it almost felt like, he kind of almost in a sense had forgotten about Saquon Barkley, but Monday morning he gets activated from the PUP list, physically unable to perform list. And he's back at practice working individuals, and they're going to ramp him up back to team drills. Justin, we're going to talk about him returning and how maybe the Giants attack this, and maybe even, as the, training camp goes along, not even talking about week 1. But this morning when that happened, the Joe Judge after the Chicago game said, he's like, don't fall asleep on 26. It's going to be a hell of a story either way. And I have to admit, I did fall asleep on Saquon Barkley. Like I kind of had forgotten what he was and how he impacts a game, and was watching some highlights and stuff and going through Saquon Barkley stuff. And it reminded me like, oh my gosh, we have this huge weapon that we just didn't have last year and have completely forgotten about. And now I can't wait to go out there and see him and have him on my team again.
I partially blame myself because how privately and quietly, sometimes out public, how kind of like
you said that like 20 times. Everyone knows you didn't want to pick a running back at 2.
No, I'm compared to other people, I am very privately and quietly anti-running back. And
you don't beat a dead horse.
I try not to, but you can hear it in the way that I talk and the way that I promote the team and promote what I do. Is I really do prioritize throwing the ball, and I don't think that doesn't make me a hater or anything. It's just, hey, this is where the league is trending towards. But having Saquon Barkley, granted, I don't think having an elite running back can help as tremendously and make us a Super Bowl caliber team as other people do. But having Saquon Barkley is certainly not a bad thing, and it is how you can use Saquon Barkley and how Saquon Barkley can also utilize his own strengths as well. Can he be a little bit more consistent and get more intelligent, knowing when holes are available and when the 4-yard gain is there, but also still recognizing when the 20, 30, 40, 50-yard run is there. And that is what we were missing from this offense last year, is we didn't have that guy that knew when that 20, 30, 40, 50-yard rushing play was there, like we had in 2019 and especially in 2018. Bobby, you posted those highlights this morning on the IG and the Twitters and whatnot. I thought you sped up the video. I'm like, there's no way that this is this fast. Like there's no way that this guy is this fast. And really, he is. He is that fast. And I don't even know if you know how to speed up a video, to be honest. You don't have those video editing.
I definitely don't.
Yeah, you don't have those video editing prowesses that I do. So I dismissed that once I figured out that you don't know how to do it. It really did look like it was in fast forward, especially compared to Alfred Morris, who was so slow last year that allowed holes to open up. And Wayne Gallman was just average at best, even though he was good at picking up the 4-yard chunks. So yeah, he's back. Still think he's going to be eased back. And none of my takes change of trying to convince everybody that listens that he also should be eased back, then he will be eased back. None of those takes change, but it is just exciting that he's back and he's practicing and he's with the team.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we both think he's going to be eased back, but I think that was being put up to interpretation. Now, while it hasn't been ruled out now, I think we can be confident like he's going to play week 1.
I was always confident. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought he was, but Ian Rappaport, Mike Garafolo, like they don't tweet that he might not play week 1 for no reason. And maybe that's still in play, but I really do think he plays week 1, even though they don't give him a full workload. It was nice to see his first action on a wheel route. Like that was like, oh, are you guys pandering to us Giants fans, putting this man on a wheel route? Like the first clip you let us see of Saquon Barkley, let him get out there and run. It just felt good seeing him back out there, and again, bringing back the memories of big plays and an offense that severely lacked big plays, and using him as a receiver. I mean, again, we talked about it in the offseason. The best receiving game for a running back this year was week 1 with Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
And it was by far, the best of this season, so it's like, that's not a coincidence. Those big plays he makes aren't a coincidence. He is a difference maker. He does contribute to winning games. And I know the Giants didn't win a lot of games his first 2 seasons, but you can point to the games they did win and being like, hey, if they didn't have Saquon, they didn't win this. They don't beat Chicago in 2018. If you want to if he doesn't have that run at the end of the half, they don't kick a field goal, they lose that game. Washington, again, now you could point and say, well, they didn't win a bunch of games, but he does affect wins and losses. And I'm excited to get him back.
100%. 100%. It's how can he make everybody else around him better, and then vice versa? How can hopefully an improved offensive line, improved quarterback play? I mean, certainly I think Daniel Jones right now in 2021 should 100% be better than Eli Manning towards the latter half of his career, and also improved wide receiver play, especially when you compare it to 2019, hopefully 2018 as well. I know, Prima Donna 13 was here as well. So yin and yang, it's team game. And unfortunately, the running back position, it is the position that's probably one of the most reliant on the team around you in football, but football is a team game for a reason. So let 2-6 be successful, and 2-6 will hopefully help us be successful as well.
2-6. I love everyone calling him 26 and 2-6. O'Shane was doing it. Joe Judge has done it. I love it. Now here's a question I have, and it piqued my interest when I was reading Dan Duggan talk about it a little bit. And I actually did a poll, and I can get the results while I kind of throw this to you. And the results were split, and I know people are going to be on opposite ends of this. If he's fully cleared health-wise, and I say, like, not like, oh, we just need to get him some touches. Like, if he is fully cleared health-wise for the last preseason game, and he's been doing, like, so he gave, like he was pretty involved in the practices with the Patriots with joint practices, but you're still not tackling in those. You're not bringing guys to the ground. Would you give him a few carries that last preseason game?
His doctor and his surgeon also cleared him to not wear a brace, which I think is a positive sign. Yes.
Oh my God.
What happened?
With 1,000 votes on Twitter, it's yes 50%, no 50%.
Oh, there you
go.
We've
never had a poll like that. Let me look at the Instagram.
Yeah, look at the Instagram. But to me, I don't have a very strong opinion on this. I'm fine if they do. I'm fine if they don't. I trust that this is Saquon Barkley, and I trust that he's going to come back and he's going to be ready to rock and roll. But why I don't mind if they do give him a few carries, if the dude is going to get hurt and he's going to suffer a major injury again, I don't think the 4 or 5 carries he's going to get in a preseason game are going to contribute to it. I really don't. I really do think it is you having a slow and steady approach is kind of the way to go. If the Giants are up big, let's not stuff the stat sheet with Saquon just because it's Saquon Barkley. Let's run the ball, but let's split the carries. Let's have the long-term approach. And if it's week 17 and we're winning big, yeah, it's a different story because it's week 17 and Saquon's been here for the whole season. But I don't think the 4 or 5 carries that he would get in the preseason, it's just not gonna really. I don't really have a strong opinion on this, and I hate that I don't, but I just don't, because if the dude is going to get hurt, he's going to get hurt.
Instagram says yes, 53%, no, 47%. I wouldn't say I have the strong, like, I'm not going to be mad if he doesn't, but if he's fully cleared, yes, I do think he should. I would not like the first time that he's actually tackled to be in a game that matters. That's got to be in his head. Get that out. This is. Sometimes people forget that we're not pushing Legos around with pro athletes. This is a guy who has, a brain between his ears and thoughts and emotions just like all of us. Give him a few in that last preseason game, and then you have 2 weeks of rest before that in the first regular season game versus Denver. Give him like you said, if he's fully cleared health, medically, him getting 3 carries. If he were to get injured in that, God forbid, I wouldn't be like, oh, if they didn't put him in. It's like eventually he has to play football again and practice. So if he's able to practice and do full contact practices, then he should be able to take a few carries in a preseason game 2 weeks before the season starts. So yeah, I would want that. Like I said, I'm not gonna be mad if they don't. But I would like for his first time being actually tackled, not wrapped up and thud, to be not in a regular season football game when it matters. When
not coming from
1-0 is extremely important.
Not coming from Von Miller, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Even get him some blocking reps against live reps and stuff. He'll get that in practice, but it doesn't beat the some game reps. Put him out there for one series, give him 2 to 4 carries and a couple blocking reps, and that's it. Like, that's not going to be the difference of him getting hurt or not getting hurt.
What's your take on his thighs being 2 different sizes?
That's not true. Stop. Yeah. So I do think he should, but I'm surprised. I've never seen a poll like that we've done where it's split 50-50 like that. The closest one I think was, who are you going to vote for as vice president? You, Justin Pennick, Mike Pence, or Kamala Harris, and I think that one was like 33. Did you win
the presidential one? Who are you going to vote for president? Bobby Skinner, Trump, or Biden?
I can't remember. I just remember the vice president because we did it during the.
Because you are more well liked than I am.
Yeah, but you probably can appease a wider base.
Excuse me.
So who would you vote for vice president after the debate? Justin Pennick got 35%. Mike Pence got 33.9, and Kamala got 30.8. And it literally went the opposite of that in real life.
There's a chance. You're telling me I finished in last. There's a chance I could still lose in the what do you call it? The electoral college. So let's see.
So that I'm sorry I still do feel bad that you lost the vice presidential race. Maybe you should align yourself with a better presidential candidate.
It's true.
Other than me.
Saquon's back. Hey, Bobby.
When do you think he's going to get back into full-blown action? I think it would be that Patriots week, that joint practice week.
How are they going to go about it? Now, the Patriots joint practice week is the final week/game of the preseason, but it's technically not the final week. It's final week of preseason, but not the final week of camp. Because they're doing this thing where they have the week after, and
no fourth preseason game,
etc. So whatever. Because Joe Judge announced, and it was kind of announced on Monday, that they're going to treat the Jets game almost like the 4th preseason game. Mostly young guys, which I think I kind of like that.
Well, did you see this new rule? I missed it in the offseason. After next Tuesday, they have to cut 5 guys. They got to go 90 to 85. And then the following Tuesday, they go 85 to 80. And then 2 weeks later they have, a week and a half later they have the cut down to the 53 man. I missed that rule in the offseason. I just saw it today.
That kind of sucks for the 5 guys that are going to get cut on Tuesday.
Yeah, but it gives them a chance to find a squad that maybe would like them on the practice squad somewhere. Where if you're one of the bottom 5, you're not making our practice squad.
Yeah, instead of going from like 80 to 53 and getting all 30 of them cut at once, right? So I guess I don't know, but that would stink for the first 5 that get cut. Imagine if there's like a surprise or really big surprise cut with the first 5. It's like, whoa, and just throws us off. It's gonna be exciting. Not excited for those guys.
Can you bet on preseason football?
Hope you can. You should. This is America.
Everyone's favorite time of the year is right around the corner. College football season, preseason football season. To celebrate, DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is putting new players in the center of the action with $200 in free bets instantly if you bet $1 more in any college football game. Take advantage of this limited-time offer now. You heard right. DraftKings is giving all new players $200 in free bets instantly when you place a bet of $1 or more on any college football game, no matter what. Head to DraftKings Sportsbook app now to check out all the great promotions and daily odds boosts that they are offering. DraftKings Sportsbook is safe, secure, and reliable, located right here in the United States, so it's easy to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JOHNBOY to receive $200 in free bets when you place a $1 bet on any college football game. That's promo code JOHNBOY to get your free $200 and free bets instantly. $200, man. They upped that for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older in New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Big year for Nebraska.
Yes, big year for Miami. Bubba Bolden. Who's your favorite player on Nebraska right now that for the draft?
I have no clue. I haven't watched Nebraska in a couple of years because they've been bad.
Couple of years.
Yeah, it's basically after they fired Bo Pelini, that's when they started to go downhill.
But they've been bad for a lot longer than a couple of years.
No, they would be. Bo Pelini was known for his 9 wins and then losing the whatever bowl game they were in. They would win 9 games. They would get into the Big Ten championship. They would get spanked in the Big Ten championship, and then they would lose whatever bowl game they're in. And that was Bo Pelini's life. They got you so excited because they would be top 25, and then it was actually funny. Somebody asked on Twitter, I think you like this tweet too.
Can you hear the fireworks?
I cannot hear the fireworks. I'm unfortunate. Go to FanFest, Parking Lot G. There's going to be fireworks there. Come join us, watch fireworks with us. Anyway, there was a tweet that said, "Why isn't football an Olympic sport?" And then they showed the highlight of Taylor Martinez in 2014, 2013 against Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship, where he had that insane 70-yard touchdown run where he ran 15 yards backwards. And so yes, Taylor Martinez. And
the caption was Josh Rosen scores a touchdown versus Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
Bo Pelini retired, right?
I don't know. He was coaching.
So did Zach Fulton. That's a transition. I don't really care about Bo Pelini.
Wow. Okay.
Zach Fulton retired on Friday. I actually got woken up to this news. I woke up, checked Twitter. It's oh, Zach Fulton retired. It's all right, get in the work mode. You don't even get a second to breathe here, Bobby.
Something awakened in you that said you have to wake up, and it was the moment that Zach Fulton did retire.
Yeah. So Zach Fulton, literally, I checked Twitter, and the first thing is 1 minute ago, Zach Fulton announces his retirement.
Some spirit awoken you.
It was the spirit of Joe Judge. So obviously we've there's been big debate over guys retiring. We talked about that on Friday, so I don't want to rehash a ton of that. I will say this one kind of hurts. Looney, I didn't stress. Todd Davis, I definitely didn't stress. I guess Kenny Wiggins was truly ahead of Zach Fulton, which makes it sting a little less. But Zach Fulton was the second most experienced guy on this team, doubly. He had 90 career starts where Kenny Wiggins only has 42. So and Nate Solder obviously had the most on the offensive line. And I know he was bad in 2020, but he was good before that. This one is a little kick to the depth a little bit, where Joe Looney, I really didn't stress at all. Todd, I'm repeating myself, Todd Davis, I definitely did. But Zach Fulton, he was he's had a good NFL career, and he's only turning 30 this year.
Yeah. So now we're at a point where we're a little bit more concerned about the offensive line. But here's even just a spin from this. And I think I've said this before on an episode or a PPP, something like that. At least in the past, guys like Zach Fulton would collect their paychecks with the New York Football Giants, start for the Giants, and maybe if their heart isn't totally in it, they would start, they would stink, they would be decent, they would be average, below average, whatever. They would collect their paycheck and then move on because the Giants didn't know how to draft people to find sustainable replacements that can be here year after year. And that was the Giants' approach. Like, oh, let's just sign the John Jerrys of the world, the Mike Remmers of the world, even though Mike Remmers was somewhat decent. The DJ Flukers of the world. Let's sign these guys just to be here, to be placeholders for this year because there's just nobody better. Those guys would start. So if Zach Fulton wasn't in it, and yes, it's kind of a hit to our depth, but at the end of the day, these would be guys that would start for the Giants in years past. So at least I have solace in knowing that, like, hey, if you're not in it, then you're not here. And he clearly, I guess, and I'm just speaking from I don't want to say that Zach Fulton he's quitting or anything like that. But if you're not here, if your heart's not in it, if your mind's not in it, then you're not here.
Well, Kenny Wiggins was ahead of him. And honestly, Zach Fulton with his career, Kenny Wiggins shouldn't have been ahead of him. So that's either Kenny Wiggins is outperforming himself or Zach Fulton was severely underperforming. So, it just sucks because Zach Fulton could have been good depth, and I know there's an argument where it's like, I actually thought the depth going into this preseason was like, the depth is actually good. The issue is that the depth is very close to what the starters are. Like, the issue is not like if you look at depth around the offensive line in the league, I bet you the Giants probably shoot up to every single one of them. And you got Jonathan Harrison, who started a bunch of games, Kenny Wiggins, Zach Fulton, who started 90, Nate Solder, 127. The issue is that the starters might not be too far ahead of them. And especially at those positions of right tackle and the guard spots. Center and left tackle, at least I feel pretty good about. The guards and the tackle and right tackle are the ones you worry about.
Nate Solder got one snap at guard when somebody had a full start and they took a lap. So Nate Solder for right guard. Here we go.
Me and you both thought that would fuel some Nate Solder guard talk, but that actually did the opposite. It fueled Will Hernandez as a bum talk because he had one false start.
Oh,
the Instagram comments were full of this guy sucks.
Yeah, I legitimately thought that people were going to start making the Nate Solder for guard take, but I was actually proud of people.
There's a little bit out there. Maybe I just don't see it happening. He looks skinny, and we just recorded his PPP earlier, and it'll be out later. I just don't think Nate Solder's up to it. It's not to say it's impossible. I just don't think he's up to that.
Yeah, I would agree. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's my take.
That's true. Chad Slade seems to be having a good camp. I'll say that. And then
I'm rooting for him.
I like Chad. And then I'm very excited to see what Kyle Murphy looks like in preseason. He's legitimately who I'm looking forward to seeing most in the preseason is Kyle Murphy.
All right, so let's kind of project who is going to be this I could see the starting O-line getting a series. But who is going to be the O-line that's going to rock and roll for that second quarter? So Chad Slade at left tackle.
It's going to be Slade,
Murphy,
Murphy, Harrison, maybe Wiggins. I don't know. And
Wiggins maybe on the left and then Murphy on the right, or vice versa. Doesn't
Wiggins Wiggins is working with the starters right now, so I'm not sure. But Wiggins technically is a backup because Lemieux is going to be the starter when he gets back.
Right.
So maybe they put Wiggins at left and then put Murphy at right. I just don't know if they going to want to put Heggie out there at right guard to start, play a bunch,
Maybe they will. I think here's
I think they want to give Heggie center reps in the second half.
Here's
and Harrison in the first half.
Here's the take that you got to remember that I said a while back about preseason.
Let's save this for Friday. Honestly.
Oh yeah, little one take. You got to remember there. We may just because we don't see a lot of somebody. So let's just say Brett Heggie. We don't see a lot of them, and we're wondering why. That may not be a bad sign. It may be a good sign that Joe Judge and company doesn't want to put too much tape out there. So if they have to cut him, then a team doesn't pick him up right away and sign him to their own 53-man roster because they want him to fall to the practice squad. They don't want to put a lot of tape out there.
Hege's going to play a ton. I think he's going to play at center.
Okay.
But I'm pretty confident Hege's going to
save it for Friday.
Yeah.
Uniforms.
Ryan Anderson was cut.
That too. I'm excited about uniforms.
Now he hasn't practiced, so I'm sure that has a lot more to do with it than our own assessments of him. But this was one guy I want to cut. Let's talk about the edge room. Lorenzo Carter, Azeez Ojulari, Ifeadi Odenigbo, and Ellerson Smith. Those 4 guys are essentially locks to make the roster. You really only need 4 guys at that. Cam Brown was second on the team in special team snaps. He's probably going to make the roster. And then if they were going to keep 6, you got O'Shane Ximines and Ryan Anderson. Ryan Anderson doesn't do anything for me. Like there's no point of his game. And you know me, I try to be positive, especially in like film breakdowns and stuff. It's like, hey, I understand what these guys' expectations. I want to show you the good things he does, but also he struggles. Ryan Anderson, there's really nothing you could point to, and like that's what he does good. Whereas at least O'Shane Ximines, like there's some flashes of pass rush ability. They draft him in the 3rd round. It's like, okay, let's give him a chance to develop. He kind of missed his whole second year, so let him give him some time to develop. So, not much. The only thing I will say is what was the head scratcher for me is Kyler Fackrell got $500,000 more, and it was only $500,000 guaranteed. The rest it was incentives for sacks and playing time. So I would have much rather kept Kyler Fackrell around, who can be a do-it-all type linebacker and had like some semi-decent success with the Giants. I never understood why they let Fackrell go to the Chargers and brought Anderson in.
Hey, but if you listen to the show, and if you're an in-tune listener, and you don't even have to be like an in-tune listener, right? Because you have been saying this pretty repetitively when it's necessary. If you're a listener to this show, you knew this was going to happen. Just saying.
This clears things up for defensive assistant quality control coach Ryan Anderson.
Yeah, it must have been tough.
Remember, it was like within a few days they added Ryan Anderson.
Must have been tough, especially if you had a Twitter.
My favorite Ryan Anderson was on the Orlando Magic.
I love when people at Justin Tuck when Justin Tucker misses a field goal. It's like my favorite thing on Twitter.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the uniforms now?
Yeah, I like them going to the white pants. I mean, the pants already looked white on TV, but I like them going to the white pants.
I do.
With the aways. Now with the homes, I want gray pants.
No, you're weird.
Why wouldn't you want gray pants at home?
The white looks so clean. No matter what, I think white always looks so clean, and I love how they, the red and maybe the white
at home with the blue jerseys. I want gray pants.
No. I think white looks very clean.
Yeah, with the white jerseys.
No, I think they look cleaner with the blue jerseys with the color contrast than the away.
This is a bad take by you.
I think you're in the minority. The gray pants. This is why I wish.
Here's why I'm in the minority, though. When it comes to jerseys, fans always just want something different. Like if we had the color rush jerseys as our aways for the last 10 years, and then we brought out the current aways as like, look at these new jerseys, people would be like, we need to have these. I love the current away jerseys. We won 2 Super Bowls in them.
Yeah, we did win 2 Super Bowls in them. The Giants did announce today that we are going to be wearing white. You want the gray pants back. We're going to be wearing our white away jerseys with the gray pants for the first time at home since week 2 of the 2005 season, when the New Orleans Saints were the home team during her post Hurricane Katrina. And I was at that game. Now, I originally thought it was a preseason game.
Am I a bad person for being like, yes, we get an extra home game when that happened?
No, you're not. Because realistically, I would be the same way. That was the first and last game that the Giants have had cheerleaders. And the only thing I remember from that game, I was also 7 years old. The only thing I remember from that game, 2005 week 2 against the Saints, is that there were cheerleaders there, and I was watching them intently.
Little horn dog.
Mm-hmm.
Both the color rush games I will be at. Tampa on the road, and then Philly the following week.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's pretty darn cool.
I'm going to. Yeah, I kind of wanted to see the regular whites though. So it is what it is. All right. You got anything else?
No, I do like the changes though. I like how there's going to be a change and there's going to be diversity and it's not going to be the same thing every week. And even at home, given that change of the eyes, I kind of like it. I'm for it. 100% for it.
You have to think about this. Could you read the ad?
Oh, I could think about it, Bobby Skinner. So nobody likes the pup list. Nobody likes to being physically unable to perform. And Manscaped, it's going to help you out in terms of getting ready to perform, in terms of your looks. Maybe if it's dangling a little bit, maybe if you can't really fully get it up, it's still going to look good because it looks bigger when you trim it back. That's what my father told me growing up. Manscaped,
the chat agrees with me, by the way.
The chat agrees with you because everyone agrees with you. If we were to put it to a poll and we were to say, this is Justin's take and this is Bobby, even if we didn't, even if we just said anonymously, can we do that thing again? Remember we did that random thing? I'm sorry, Manscaped. Well, I'm going to get to you in 1 second.
That's how we named the Giant Story segment. We just put out 2 letters, vote for J or K.
Yep. And you won.
Yep.
Can we do that again?
Later.
Okay. We'll do it later. All right. So Manscaped,
I'll do it right now, actually.
Manscaped helps you out. Can my letter be Q?
All right. So Q is for gray pants or white pants with the blue jerseys.
Sure.
Actually, you know what? Why don't we just ask people what they like more? Actually, you know what?
No, I just want to test this out because I'm convinced
Mine's
that
gonna be
every single poll that we do, I lose it, even when it's anonymous.
people are gonna when they think Q, they think QAnon, so you're gonna lose this one.
Okay. That's the way it goes. All right, Manscaped, it helps you look really good and it gets you ready to perform. And they have their space series. So attention listeners across the galaxy, all the way from Australia to Houston. Do you have a pube problem? If so, our friends at Manscaped, they have cleared you for takeoff with the 4th generation brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Kick your pubes to the next planet with the Performance Package 4.0. The orbits in your pants will feel like you're in zero gravity when you use the best tools for the job. The leaders in male grooming, join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get your rocket, penis metaphor, ready for takeoff by going to Manscaped for 20% off and using the code GIANTS, and also get some free shipping. The Lawnmower 4.0, 7,000 RPM motor, new multifunction on-off switch. It can function when you need a more precise shave. Did I mention the trimmer is waterproof too? Yes, we've talked about that. Waterproof, take it in the shower. Performance Package 4.0. It also comes with a weed whacker. It brings so much to the table. Manscaped also threw in 2 free gifts of the Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Pack. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code GIANTS at manscaped.com for a clean trinity and beyond. Your space balls will thank you. Promo code GIANTS, 20% off and free shipping. Thank you, Manscaped.
R is up 68-32. All right, we now welcome on to the program. Well, I say that in the interview, but
yeah,
Barstool Clem, our good friend. So here it is. Take it away. All right, we now welcome back on, I think, second time officially on Talking Giants. You've been on streams and Bleeding Blue and different stuff. Clem Zingas, Barstool Clem. Clem, how are you doing? It's training camp, which I think might be our 3's favorite time of the year as Giants fans. Hopefully that actually changes. But how are you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Doing great. I was actually trying to think. I was like, I think this is the second time on the show, unless there was some sort of like off-season thing. I don't know. But like you said, I've been on some of the streams, which was a blast. And yeah, like you said, training camp. It's always eventful, usually because it's the highlight of our year, usually because by week 6 we're out of the playoff hunt. But I think things are changing. I love you guys because you guys are, I think, on the more positive side, but realists at the same time. And I think we always have fun here. So you guys are my kind of people. Talking Giants against the world. Am I part of the Talking Giants in that battle, or am I part of the world? Like, it's not just you guys. It's you guys.
You tweeted Talking Giants versus the world, so you're part of.
Okay, there
you just have to tweet it one time, and that's how you become part of it.
Hell yeah.
It's like being christened by blood. Is that even the phrase? I think I just might have mixed 2 different things.
You know what? I think we have to have a blood christening with each other the first time we actually meet in person. We're gonna have to do it. People are like, "What the fuck is going on over there?" But you know what? That's because you.
I'm gonna be up there next week for FanFest. I think we're gonna do if I give you a sticker, you have to tweet out "Talking Giants versus the World" like right on the spot or something.
For real.
Or get like a spatula that like grills "Talking Giants versus the World" into the burgers. I will say it's good to talk to you because we've been doing all the beat reporter stuff, and I'm just sick of reporters and net media because of the way this first week as a Giants fan has went, because it's all the Joe Judge like talking points had went away. People were like, okay, you know what? He's real deal. People bought in, and my God, they have come back fast. And it's good to have someone who's like on with us to fight against that instead of just trying to be objective and not getting dirty in the fight.
Yeah, and like obviously we have like a lot of the guys you interview, the people I should say, there's some girls too. Like you guys interview like some really good beat reporters who do their stuff and have fun with it. But then there's also like the people who don't have any fun, or like I always find it's the national reporters who are just diving into the scrum, will get the Joe Judge news, and then they run with it blindly. I mean, Wes Steinberg. I said Wes Steinberg's having the best training camp since Victor Cruz was a rookie and before he got hurt, because he is just like, it's just fish in a barrel right now. It's sickening. Like I get I'm sure you guys get them. People are tagging me in the tweets. They're thinking they're either trying to clown me or they're like trying to be like, yo, this is a good story for you to run with for the blog. And it's like, guys, everyone, but you know what? Like I can't even blame my friends or like my followers, because like legitimate mainstream media people with like tons of followers are falling for this guy. So like you said, the banker photo has just done an absolute number. So yeah, the Joe Judge is, Belichick clone. Matt Patricia is always my favorite. He's Matt Patricia, even though like I never heard one good thing about Matt Patricia his entire time in Detroit, where I don't hear one bad thing about Joe Judge in New York. So it's always an absolute blast to see how this part of the year goes. But it's easy to get hyped, man, right? Other than our quarterback falling at the bottom of a pile. Other than that, everything's been a lot of fun.
I think that gets me hyped a little bit too. Yeah, I can't stand the Patricia Judge comparisons. Like, have you ever listened to Judge versus Patricia? Like, I remember even like the part of my take, I interviewed Patricia, and I was like, this guy is supposed to control a room. Like, this is brutal. Like, I don't want to throw anybody on the bus, but the comparisons don't make any sense. I will say,
he never had an answer for why he had a pencil for a laminated sheet. Joe Judge would never have a pencil for a laminated sheet. He goes,
be genuine. Be genuine. That's yes. So that's we just ranted on the last podcast, was like, everyone says stop being like Belichick. It's like anyone who's around Joe Judge realizes this is who he is. Like, this isn't fake at all.
And let me just say, when he first got hired, because with all hires, you never know how they're going to be, especially Joe Judge, who I had to go on his Wikipedia, which didn't exist at the time, which was mind blowing. Like, everyone has a Wikipedia, right? And when he was doing the whole thing, I was kind of just like, poking fun at like, I'm going to play like the people of the Northeast. We're going to be, tough like these guys are. And I was like, all right, I'm going to only call him Coach Judge. He's going to be like that, football guy kind of a guy. But as you kind of get to know him, like, he is that authentic dude. And I have bought in on his program 1,000%. I think if you listen to us talking last year, we were all in on him, and nothing that has happened despite a 6-10 record. I'm even more in on him now than I was, day one, basically.
Yeah. Why I wanted to have you on, why this is like the perfect time to have you on, I should say, is because I feel like this is the summer of Joe Judge more than it was last offseason.
Yep.
This really is the summer of Joe Judge. Now that he, now that he gets to be a little bit more loose and force some guys to retire. No, but forces some guys to retire, and these guys are fighting and he's sending these guys on sprints. This is the time to have you on, because you have been one of the leading catalysts of just like, yes, like we love this, we feel this, and yes to kind of everything that he's been doing it, because I feel like the majority of Giants fans are kind of like in the same boat.
Yeah, and it starts like I say, a lot of the stuff I always do on like when I'm blogging or I'm tweeting or whatever, it starts as kind of like, tongue in cheek, because we're all in this thing. It's all the same nonsense. We're all watching the same pass that went 7 yards as an out, and we're losing our minds over. So you gotta have some fun with it. But like, he has really just like completely made me like a psychopath for like, all right, we got to be tight. We got to have no penalties. We got to do this. No fighting, goddammit. And just even the way he's educating these guys, there's a method to his madness. And I've also seen this as a Knicks fan, and I know Bobby's a Nets fan, but as a Knicks fan, we've been through like just hell. And it's like they would hire this head coach with a flashy name, and they would never do anything behind him. Where Joe Judge hires actual coaches to coach, the positions, and there's a reason why he's hiring these guys. And it's like, oh my God, we're building infrastructure here. This is how teams win. And the Knicks hiring actual shooting coaches, and they get better at shooting. It's like, What a novel concept that is right there. The big man's coach is a good big man's coach. You're the New York Knicks. You can afford guys like that. And seeing Joe Judge kind of bring that to the Giants after, I mean, there were so many hires between Shermer and McAdoo that never made any sense. And now I feel like we're finally on the right path here to building a legitimate franchise from the top to the bottom. And again, that comes to us fans. We have to be like buying into the system too, instead of just crying on Twitter. Because you know what? Cowboys fans, Eagles fans, Washington fans, they eat that up, that negativity. I'm like, let's reverse the curse. Let's get back and let's kind of like be a united front. So the last time I can remember us being united was when Odell was just having that like crazy season. We were all on the same page. And then once he put that hole in the Lambeau wall, everything shattered basically. McAdoo got a haircut and it was curtains.
That damn boat. Did you want the Giants to be on hard? Because I mean, they've already made a mistake by putting the Cowboys over the Giants. But as a fan, did you want the Giants to be on Hard Knocks or no?
As a fan, I didn't, because I don't think Hard Knocks is good for you in terms of like wins and losses. I think there's just more opportunities to create distractions out of it, which, I mean, this day and age, especially with the media, as a content maker, it would have just been like so easy. I would have had, 3 blogs every single morning before I woke up, just from the night before when they were on Hard Knocks, something someone said. I would love to see like Joe Judge operating in his like element and all the different stuff that goes on. But I like, you'll have to like the Mara name will have to be wiped from the Giants, like, franchise for them to, or they have to be the only team that fits those like 3 or 4 criteria or whatever to get on the show. That's the only way I think the Giants will ever end up on it. I honestly do.
I've never really watched it. Like I see the clips and stuff. I've never really watched Hard Knocks. Do you think a guy like Wes Steinberg would have made it on Hard Knocks? Because that Joe Judge sees that. Like, I bet you he thinks it's just as funny as us. He's like, oh, my God. Do you see what the Steinberg guy put out again?
It might have, man, because I'm telling you, like, it's hitting, like, top NFL. Like, I'm not saying, like, not Ian Rappaport and Schefter are tweeting it out. But those guys have been burned by trolls in the past. But there's some pretty high-level guys that I could see, like, a Hard Knocks producer for sure. And I used to love Hard Knocks. It's kind of, like, lost its grip on me a little bit in the recent years. But I kind of love that the Cowboys are on it, just because there is a chance there's some stupid controversy that comes out of it, because, Dallas is such a big name, and all it takes is like Zeke looking a little big his first day at camp or something like that, where everyone's just going to lose their minds. And it's one less story about Joe Judge going out of the media, and it'll be about the Cowboys instead.
With the internet now, it's like no matter how good the Giants looked in Hard Knocks, people would have found stuff to poke at. So I guess the fan in me is glad, but I, like you said, the content wise, I was like, it would be kind of fun to watch on Hard Knocks.
I mean, you guys could have done just an episode every single week, just breaking down the hour worth of stuff. You know what I mean? And then along with all the other stuff you guys do. So yeah, it would have been great. But in the end, I'm telling you, like, I have to go through and like go year by year. Like, I know the Rams made the playoffs last year while the Chargers didn't. But I think like the Cowboys year they were on, they didn't make the playoff. Like, I don't think teams usually leads to success that next season. I don't know how much it makes a difference though.
I now have a study to do, comparing Vegas odds of over/under wins of that season, and then the teams that are on Hard Knocks, and seeing how many wins they actually get and how many teams are actually they underperform. So that's a study. Thank you for giving me that idea.
Welcome.
And I can very much see not Judge reacting to Wes Steinberg, but just players in the locker room being like, just, do you see this shit? You see this shit?
Oh God, to hear like the receiver room talking about Kelvin Benjamin like eating the cafeteria or whatever, just that whole thing, that would have been special. Yeah, because these guys are on their phones more than like we are, which is actually kind of crazy when you think about it, when they're not like running laps and out there, in the weight room. So yeah, that would have been. I take it back now. I kind of would like to see like Wes Steinberg just completely, causing chaos in the Giants locker room.
Or how about just like a compilation of just guys running, and then another one bites the dust is playing in the background as Joe Looney gets his thing taken off the top of the locker. Todd Davis gets his name taken off the top of the locker. Kelvin Benjamin gets his name taken off the top of the locker. So those, like, all these guys that are retiring and getting cut. I mean, well, I guess only those 3, but another one bites the dust plays in the background as Joe Judge is just eviscerating people. And Clem, we should produce this.
we're making our own hard knocks. If we'll have to sneak into the locker room, I don't think it's be easy for us to sneak around, but we will try to sneak into that locker room and get the angel of death. I kind of like that, where Joe Judge. I mean, it's only 3 names. It's only been a week though, too. So he's on like a 3 person retirement, 3 retirings a week average right now, and it was all new guys. It was no one that was here last year, right? You have 1, 2, Davis, So it's been wild.
Joe Looney lasted 3 days, and that was like 66% more than Todd Davis lasted.
Oh, I was so bummed about Looney too. Didn't he just seem like a fun dude?
Oh, he was amazing. He was like the nicest, like most personable guy. Maybe on the entire team. Like he's like the anti-Kelvin Benjamin, and we lost him after day. So I'm not sweating over Joe Looney, but yeah, that his personality just seemed to like shine through him. He was the guy who wore the Zeke jersey back in the day in Dallas.
I forgot about that.
So he would have been a lot of fun to talk about. If he would have been good, like he would have been like, number 1 goal for us to get on Talking Giants in the offseason.
That guy is a Talking Giants kind of dude for sure. And he would have kept the O-line room loose because if like the schedule did us no favors. First 2 games of the season are against the Broncos and Washington. And the Broncos, like I feel like their pass rush by like week 12 is always just like injured or, suspended or something. Getting them week 1 fresh with that secondary and a Fangio defense, I'm like, oh crap, Danny Jones and the offensive line is going to have to work it out. And then obviously Washington on a short week on the road. And I like a guy like Joe Looney, I feel like helps that room. So I'm not happy how that all broke for us for sure.
Broncos, Washington, Atlanta to start the season. Is it like way over optimistic to like be like, oh my gosh, we can actually do 3-0 and it's not crazy?
I mean, if you then say Drew Lock, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I get Matt Ryan's not trash by any means, but those 2 and then the Atlanta defense in the first 3, you can talk me into it for sure.
Yeah,
like I feel like every single game is going to be a 3-6 point game. Like this team's not going to take it easy on us, at least in the beginning of the year. I love this team, but I don't think they're going to take it easy on us, at least in the beginning, especially against those 2 pass defenses off the jump.
I just want to win week 1. Like winning week 1 changes the tone for the entire
energy.
It's like you're either going to be way too positive, and then if you lose on the opposite end, it's like there's no more negative than you can be than losing week 1.
Isn't there some stat where they're like they've never been above 500 in like 40 weeks or so, like because they always started off slow. Those like first they've always lost week 1, and I don't like the last time we might have been above 500. Could that have been 2016? Is that right?
Yeah, it had to be because
we started
frankly,
off 2-0, then lost 3 in a row, and then won whatever in a row.
Because frankly, I started podcasting in 2018, and my big ask in 2019 was like, just let's have some energy in middle October to possibly early November.
By
like
Halloween.
That's been the ask, because we were 2-2 in October, week 5, because we won the 2 games with Jones, and then we played Minnesota, and then we back-to-back weeks in Minnesota, New England, we got our asses kicked. So that's been the the target area of that time of the year. Like, can we just have relevant football past that time of the year? Frankly, we're expecting a little bit more this year, but that's my goal. Just give me something past then. October, Halloween, like you said.
I always get so mad at the fan base for being so negative. When you do put in the numbers of it all, it's like, man, there's not a lot to be positive about sometimes, other than if you like actually follow this team. Like when the Vegas numbers came out on the over-unders and stuff like that, I was like, we're a better team than I like. Everyone's kind of talking Dallas and Washington the division. I'm like, I think we're going to be right there the whole time. So then again, if you just look at the cold heart, like I remember that stat, I think it was Monday night. It was last week, Monday night, first game of the year. It was a tweet about how like the last 3 years, it was like we were worse than the Browns and they had the 0-16 season. And that was like kind of like it's when you're really drunk and you look in the mirror, you're like, oh boy, like this isn't good. I basically got the little spits coming out of my mouth once I saw that tweet. So that was to go along with all the other nonsense that was going on in that Steelers game. So at the end of the game,
What are we running laps for this year? I ran my first lap for believing Pat Leonard. Like, what do you think what is your biggest culprit to force you to run laps?
Okay, so every time the Giants basically screw up, I'm going to make myself run a lap just because I need to run the laps. My kitchen's getting renovated right now, so we're just been eating like pizza and takeout every night, so I feel awful right now. I think it's going to be like once I talk myself into Jason Garrett being decent, it's going to be all right. He's going to fix everything. I've already made the excuses that Saquon, the offense was built around Saquon. He got hurt week, what was that, 3 against the Bears? And then everything fell at week 2. Everything fell apart from there. So I'm just like, and I don't want to say hate Jason Garrett. I really don't like Jason Garrett.
That's okay to say on this.
I can say, hey, I hate Jason Garrett. I hate his guts.
I defended him for the first time today, which was, the whole coach thing.
The coach thing, yeah, which they're saying was blown a little out of proportion.
A little. It was totally made up. He didn't do it. He just he said good to see you guys, and they didn't really respond. And he was joking that's where you guys say good to see you guys, good to see you, coach. So he was just saying hey, say good to see you back. And I don't want to force you into any uncomfortable situations, but Pat the Rat made it seem like he demanded like Deion Sanders a couple of weeks ago to call him coach.
Oh yeah, the Deion Sanders thing too, which was wild in itself. Oh God, Pat Leonard. This is the things I forgot about Pat Leonard. He's been out of my life so long. Now he's coming in. Now when the Knicks win, all the negative Knicks writers disappear, and it's they don't mean anything anymore. Now the Giants are back, and then we have to deal with the Pat the Rats and all that stuff. I mean, Wes Steinberg is bleeding into the regular media now. That's such a Wes Steinberg thing to do right there, right? I feel like I've said Wes Steinberg on this podcast more than I ever imagined.
Oh, he's a star. He is a shooting star.
I feel like
I used to hate him.
I feel like he's the embodiment of the Joker. He's just a figure that loves to watch the world burn. He's the embodiment of the Dark Knight Heath Ledger Joker.
He's like, if he caught the postman, what if he caught the mailman, what would he do? He doesn't even know. He just runs after it. He's just causing chaos. He doesn't want to become a credentialed member of the media. He just wants to cause chaos, retweets, likes, all this kind of stuff, and make it to Sports Center. I work with a guy, Uncle Chaps. He actually had, it was the year we signed Olivier Vernon. He had that the Jaguars signed him, and I think Schefter went with it live on Sports Center. And
really?
They cut to him, and he was so pissed off. He was his little Schefter thing. You can see he was all mad.
Because I remember that, and I was so confused, because I wasn't as into it back then. I check it a couple hours later, and it's the Giants are in play for Olivier Vernon. I was I thought he signed for this with the Jags. I didn't know that was your guys guy.
Yep. He's my co-host on Podfather. So I always call him dude, you were a swindler back in the day. You played the game, that troll stuff. But I mean, it keeps the internet fresh. You need to have that every so often. And I said it, and I truly meant it at the time when the Benjamin story went up. It was reminder, this is training camp now. We check for the blue check marks. And the thing is, you could check the check, but now the check marks are falling for the fake news. So then it's just absolute chaos out there. So wait until Talking Giants tweets it. Until they tweet it, it's not real.
5 years ago, you had an excuse to fall for this stuff. I don't feel like you can have an excuse to fall for this anymore. It's we have been, at least myself, I have been conditioned to not believe anything, even if it has a blue check mark. Deshaun Watson was going to be traded to the Eagles last night. When we look at his profile, does he have a blue check mark? Yeah. Does he have 19,000 followers? Yeah. But it's you know what? I'm not believing that this random, Wizards reporter is the one who got the Deshaun Watson scoop.
Exactly.
And I really think it's like a reflection on our society too. Really, what Wes Steinberg is causing us to do. We're really getting philosophical here. Wes Steinberg is putting a mirror up to our world and say, look at yourselves. This is what you've turned into.
And then again, we're going crazy about guys practicing in shorts, but that's just the kind of shit this NFL does to us. Our brain is conditioned right now. Obviously I know, Justin, you're in the tri-state area. Bobby's down in Florida, but we've had football weather earlier than usual. We're getting it the first week of August. I'm waking up and it's 50s and 60s outside. And I'm what's going on?
So good about visiting next week.
Oh yeah. You're bringing up the heat though. I think it's going to be in the 80s and 90s. You goddamn stay in Florida, man. We're trying to enjoy this football weather up here.
Dude, I can't even go outside and without sweating right now. It sucks.
Your hair's flowing nice though. You got the hair.
I know, but that's part of the problem. This is my first year working inside, and it's okay, I can live with it. If I was still working outside, it would have been cut off months ago. Yeah. Are you going to be able to make it up to the Fan Fest?
It's the 12th.
The 11th Wednesday.
The 11th. I haven't. So when they said everything went on sale or whatever, or they were putting the tickets online, it was crashing. I was I'm not going anywhere near this. I went to MetLife a month ago. I took my kids to Monster Truck Rally. Got to get, like I always say, got a little white trash in you, you know.
Oh, I've been to them.
Kids to some fun. It was my first time ever going. It was an absolute blast. I spent 2 hours in MetLife Stadium and it was in the hallways because there was thunder. It was thundering and lightning outside. So it was me and about 100 million kids just pissed off on their iPads and whatever. And then I had to come back the next day and I said, you know what? I'm good going to MetLife until I'm going to be week 3 against the Falcons. That's my next time at MetLife. So I was like, I don't know if I want to go with 50,000 Giants fans or whatever the number was. It's unbelievable. The kind of what's the latest numbers on that? Did they end up selling them out or what are they doing?
Well, the issue is they gave people no warning and they made them free. So like I didn't like there's so many people who probably have 6 tickets but don't plan to go.
Yep.
Because like I'm going to get my tickets and figure it out later.
Yeah.
So like I you know, usually I would be a little annoyed by that, but it's like I don't blame people. It's like it's like as soon as we saw that, it's like let's get our tickets as quick as we can, and then we'll figure out if I'm going to fly up for that and stuff. So
yeah, there's people who probably got them and never will think about it again until like the next day when they're reading about what happened at FanFest. Oh yeah,
I had tickets for that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, like especially like the hustle bustle of the tri-state. It's free. Let's take it. We'll figure out the rest later. So
I've seen ads for them on Craigslist and stuff too. I mean, people are trying to make $100 off of it.
You respect the game, right?
Any ideas for us to get in trouble there, but not get into too much trouble where the Giants organization is like you can't use the name Talking Giants anymore?
Yeah, like I didn't think about that too. I want to see just straight trailer boy stuff at E-Boys up there. That's the thing. I want to see it, but it's like it is a thin line. Then again, it is New Jersey. It's a New Jersey parking lot. That's what I say to myself. My happy place on earth is usually around 10:30 a.m. when all the beers start hitting, and I'm in the middle of a parking lot in East Rutherford. That's like some sick and twisted shit, but it's the truth. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to see you guys like. I don't know. I want to see fireworks. I want to see badass Bobby. Like bring that fucking no checkmark mentality up here to the East Rutherford park.
Maybe we'll just do the fireworks in the car. Like we're not doing it in the parking lot. We're doing it in the car.
I have a sunroof, so we'll do it out of my car.
I saw you guys running laps too, like absolute maniacs, and I'm like, what are these guys doing? That was you, Justin. Were you running laps?
Well, no, when I heard that Joe Judge was eviscerating people, I got in my car and I acted like I drove to the facility, and then Bobby was running laps for Believe in Pat Leonard. So we've been going nuts. We've been going nuts over here.
This is so much fun. Like everyone's losing their minds. Like, oh my God, is this going to be the end of the Giants? This is Belichick without the talent, blah, blah, blah. This is what we're supposed to do. Have some fucking fun with it, right? This is what being a football fan's about. Because I'll tell you, by mid-October, there's a chance we're not having fun anymore. If you can't have fun now, you're not going to have fun at all, potentially. So this is what the Giants have done to us. They've kind of broken my brain in that sense.
I've met Justin a couple times. I plan on just really pranking him as hard as I can. Not even like clever pranks, just prank. It's a prank, the YouTube. It's a prank, bro.
Tabletop him. Give him the tabletop. You can't do that on the parking lot, though. Maybe in like a beach or something. I don't know. You guys have to take him to the beach to tabletop him.
Well, it's like I'm gonna pull up the video, but like you were talking about fireworks and car. This is I'm peer pressuring my brother to like throw fireworks out the window. I don't know if you can see. Do it. And he goes, "Come on, do it." Stop your throws it under my legs in the car. It's not go off. Go.
That's gonna get. Oh, jeez.
So I'm gonna destroy Justin's vehicle next week, which I'm very happy about.
My poor 2015 Honda Cross Tour.
Justin, head swivel. Promise me. I don't want next time we're doing it and we have the JPP interview with you. Like we need everyone head on a swivel this entire season. That entire what is it? A week you're coming up for, Bobby?
4 days, yeah.
4 days. Okay, that's gonna be good though. Like, see, that's the kind of stuff I think the Fan Fest needs is. Like it's always a little, I don't know if the word's stuffy, but that's just Giant fans in general, right? Like it's the Jets fans. I remember back in the day, they'd be getting into fights and they were, the tailgate videos would go viral. Giants fans are much older, a little more calm. They sit on their hands. It's a little quieter in the stadium. I think we need someone to kind of just, stir up the, be a little bit of an instigator. So that's kind of what I want you guys to be.
We need to be somewhere in the middle of current Giants fans. And then like we're Philly fans where they're fighting their power forward Mike Scott because he's wearing a Redskins jersey.
Yeah.
Like I want to find the perfect line in the middle of that.
That's how I look at you guys. You guys are it's a little bit of the Wild West, the gunslingers of the Giants podcasting world.
Sometimes that's what sucks is like I do a film breakdown, which is very serious and technical. And then it's like the next day we're making memes about drop kicking Pat Leonard.
That's the beauty of it all, because that's the kind of like fan I want to be. I want to be serious, learn some stuff, but then I also want to have some fun, and that's why you guys it's why the whole world is fucking shaking in its boots at you guys.
Exactly. Well, Clem, we've had a lot of fun. We appreciate you coming on, and we'll definitely do it again.
Thanks for having me. Let's go Giants. Do you guys do predictions for the season, like record wise?
See, I made an oath that I will never predict the Giants to lose.
Oh, that's right. That's right. 77-0.
Yeah, 70, but 10 wins. And our friends at the Giants guys, I'll give them a shout out. They slogan 10 wins the floor. Like, it's time. We need to expect the team to win. It's Dave Gettleman's 4th year. It's the QB. They drafted 6 overalls 3rd year, and if they don't, heads got to roll. And I don't think it's just Jason Garrett. Like, it's time to win football games for the New York Giants. So mine is just make the playoffs. I don't care how you make it. Make the playoffs.
Yep, 6-11. If that's what it takes again in the division, do it. What about you, Justin?
I'm 10 Giants rush guys. They got me bought in. So 10 wins to the floor, and I 10 wins, double-digit wins. I'd be very happy with that, and I think this team can do it too. How about you?
I'm saying 11-6, but
yes.
So
it's not 10, crazy.
No, it's not. The 10 wins the floor is. I like that saying as well. I saw that, and then I was like, well, at least if I say 11-6, I don't seem absolutely batshit crazy then. So 11-6. I said the Mets were going to win 96 games. This is before everyone got hurt, and I didn't realize we didn't have an offense. So I said the 96ers. So I'm just going to roll that over. We're the 11-6ers. We're going 11-6, making the playoffs. Dallas defense is going to stink. I don't know what's going to how Dak will come back from that injury. And like Fitzmagic, Fitztragic, that's going to flip on and off. And we're just going to be the steady team, doesn't commit penalties, got a little more talent. And boys, I love this team. I love this team. Promise me I can come on before the first playoff game. Promise me now on August 5th, 8:28 p.m. I'm coming on before the first playoff game.
Wednesday, mailbag pod previewing the playoff game. Clem will be on that show.
There we go. Put in the books.
So send in your questions now. We'll be ready to go. All right, Clem. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Good luck this season.
Thank you for coming on the show, Barstool Clem. I just think he gets annoyed by like having a Barstool Clem and like saying a same like it's just call him Clem. But it's like when we put the name Barstool in it brings in more eyes. Sorry for pimping out your company's name for more views, Clem. Sports Management Worldwide is the global leader in online sports business education. We teach people how to work on the business side of sports. All of our classes are taught by industry professionals. Your mentors have been in the game you want to work in and done the jobs that you want to do. SMWW has had graduates work for all 32 NFL teams, including Patrick Hanscom, who was an area scout for the Giants. Wow. He didn't even get fired this last year like a bunch of area scouts did. SMWW can train you to be an agent, a scout, work in the front office. Justin, we should be signing up for this and learning more about scouting and stuff. Like, we don't want to be scouts, but we want to learn more about it. Work in the film with digital video editing tool XOS Thunder, used by all 32 teams. Learn from people like former Tampa Bay GM Mark Dominic, football analytics gurus Aaron Schatz and Mike Tanier of Football Outsiders. Justin, this is like calling your name right now. Football player development from former NFL coach Steve Fairchild. Learn the skills and knowledge you need to work in your football at all levels and turn your dream into reality. Man, this is really like a very targeted ad for our listeners. And they throw in this line, which is just mean. They may not be able to teach Danny Dimes to finish out his 80-yard run against the Eagles, but they can teach you to work in football. I mean, that's just mean. That's just mean, guys. Apply free at smww.com and use the discount code GIANTS for $50 off the course of your choice. They offer courses in football, baseball, basketball, soccer, and more. If you have always dreamed of a job working in sports, Sports Management Worldwide can help you. From sports betting to esports, sports broadcasting, hey, maybe I should take a course. They have the what you know and who you know to get you into the game you love. Sounds like a kind of a ball and company.
I agree. Wholeheartedly agree. I'm actually considering taking some classes.
We need to do the scouting stuff. Like, we need to learn more about scouting. The bigger we get, the more expectations is us for us to be, better. I need to learn more about cornerback scouting. I can't just say Caleb Farley is cornerback 1. Like, I have to really give my opinions behind it. All right, we appreciate you guys. Come out to FanFest. We'll be back, all this week with PPPs. Come say hi. Come hang out with us during, after. Have some fun with us. Have some drinks. Have some burgers. So we appreciate you guys. We will see you when we see you. But until then, let's go Big Blue.